إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمد عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما إخوة الإيمان السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us another opportunity to gather here today again. Today being the 19th day of the month of Rabiul Akhir in the year 1445 after the hijrah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina, which is equivalent to the 3rd day of the month of November year 2023. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us a great opportunity that spared our life from last week Jumu'at till this time. May He continue to be merciful upon the noble soul of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his companions, and we that were on his path. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the opportunity to die in a state of Iman. In continuation with the discussion we started 3-4 weeks ago concerning the Palestine and who are the Israelis. Bikuratillahi ta'ala, we continue the discussion on who are the Israelis. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked extensively in various places of the chapters of the Holy Qur'an, so many incidences that happened, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrated to us through Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in order to let us know whom these people are and the characteristics that they displayed, which shouldn't be a new thing to us today. And this is how they are going to continue to be displaying it at Yawm al-Qiyamah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Surah Al-Baqarah, Quran chapter 2, Quran chapter 3, Surah Al-Imran, verse 93. Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Kullu ta'amin kana illa li bani Israil illa ma arama Israilu ala nafsihi min qabl. إلا ما رمى إسرائيل على نفسه من قبل أن تنزل توراة فقل فاتوا بتوراة فاتلوها إن كنتم صادقين فمن افترى على الله كذبا من بعد ذلك فأولئك هم الظالمون قل صدق الله فاتبعوا ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made mention of these Banu Israel in so many places in the Holy Qur'an. But we are going to start from this today, inshallah. Allah said, Kullu ta'ami kana illa li bani Israila illa ma arama Israilu ala nafsihi. All the provisions of food, we have made it available for these Banu Israel, for the Israelis. Illa ma arama Israilu ala nafsihi min qabla an tunazzala Tawrat. Except any kind of food among the abundance we have given them, if they make it unlawful for themselves. And who is the Israel that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning here? Allah had already said, Libani Israel. The Bani Israel Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to here is the generality of the Israelis. Illa ma arama Israelu, except if Israelu has made it unlawful for themselves. And who is this Israelu? Because the first siga said Israela. This one is now saying Israelu. And from the tafsir, it is mentioned to us that Israelu here is Prophet Yaqub alayhi salamullah. And what is the sabab of nuzul? The essence of the legislation of this particular verse. It was narrated by Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when narrated to us that a group, al-Usaba, a particular number of people or a group of people from the Yahudi, from the Jews, they went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam some certain questions. They now told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that nobody can have answer to this question, can have answers to this question that we want to ask you except the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that you can see that these Israelis or these Israelites, they have been in a state of ambiguity right before the inception of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So something that happened during the time of Nabiyuna Yaqub alayhi salamullah is what they want to ask Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wasn't in existence at the time of Nabiyuna Yaqub. How you are following me? So anywhere that is being mentioned Israelu is particularly referring to Nabiyuna Yaqub. But if we say Israela, we are referring to all the Israelis. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we gave them abundance of provisions of food, except the one that Yaqub, Israelu, made unlawful for himself or for his people. But every other thing they can eat. I hope we are communicating, we are getting it. So, Abdullah ibn Abbas, when he was now narrating to us the essence of the revelation of this particular chapter, this particular verse, he now said a group, al-Usaba. If we are saying al-Usaba, al-Usaba, we are referring to a particular group of people that are not less than 10. They are not less than 10. From the Jews, they now went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to go and ask him some certain questions. And what are the questions? And they told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that these questions we want to ask you, nobody can have answers to these questions except a person that is what? That is a prophet. Brothers, if you can flash back, when we were discussing about Surah Al-Kahf, you know, some people from Mecca, from the Quraysh, were designated to go to Medina to go and ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam 5 certain questions. To go and ask him about who are the 7 sleepers of the cave. To go and ask him about the king that will sojourn around the world, and that was whom? Zulkarnaini. And the 7 sleepers are whom? Ashabul Kahf. To go and ask him about ruh, about the soul, and other questions they asked him. That if he is able to answer this question, yes, he's a prophet. We have discussed this when we are talking about Surah Al-Kahf. So also, another group of Yahudis, of Jews, they now went to Rasulullah to ask him some certain questions. And what are the questions? And the reason why they were asking him this question was because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saluni amma shi'tum. Ask me whatever you want. Walakin, but ijalu li zimatullah. Whatever you want to ask me should be on the what? On the part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa ma akhadha Yaqub ala banihi. And whatever Nabiyuna Yaqub alayhi salam had established for his children. Those are the things that you need to what? To ask me. Because you are the Yahudis. You are from the generation of whom? Nabiyuna Yaqub alayhi salamullah. We know Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salamullah was our great ancestor, right? Was the one that gave birth to Isaac and Yaqub. Yaqub, he was the one that gave birth to 12 disciples. Whom among them was whom? Nabiuna Yusuf alayhi salamullah. We have explained all this. So Nabiuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whatever you are going to ask me should be on the part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it should be on the part of the disciples, the children of whom? Nabiuna Yaqub alayhi salamullah. La in ahadathtukum shay'an fa'araftumuhu. If I answer anything from your question, la tatabi'ani ala al-Islam, I will indulge you to follow me on the what? On the path of Islam. So don't ask me gullible questions. The questions that won't have answers. Don't ask me. And whatever you want to ask me and I answer them, that means you need to follow me onto the path of Islam. You leave your what? The Jewish doctrine that you are following. I hope you are following me. فَذَلِكَ لَكَ فَقَالَ Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this is the condition I'm going to place you upon. فَسَلُّونِي عَمَّا شِئْتُمْ. Now ask me. You know you are giving them a condition that I will answer your question, but ask me whatever is in between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is in between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask me. And what the legacy left behind by Nabiuna Yaqub for his children, you ask me all this, I will answer you. But after answering you, you have to follow me on the path of Islam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told them this, and I said, "Fasaluni amma shi'tum." Ask me whatever you want to ask me. They now ask. They want to start the question now. Akhbirina an arba'i khilal. Told us about 4 certain things, 4 certain conditions. Want you to tell us. And what are the conditions? Akhbirina an ayyu ta'ami arama Isra'ilu ala nafsihi. We want you to tell us about the food that Isra'ilu, who is Isra'ilu? Nabiuna Yaqub. The food that he made unlawful to himself. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made lawful to him and his generation, every food, every provision Allah had made it for them in abundance. But him, Isra'ilu, choose to make some food unlawful for himself. What are those foods? وَكَيْفَ مَعُ الْمَرْأَةِ وَمَعُ الرَّجُلِ. The second question. Tell us concerning the water that do come out from a man and the one that used to come out from a woman. Are you with me? They are asking Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam this kind of questions. The third one, وَكَيْفَ يَكُونُ الذَّكَرُ مِنْهُ الْأُنْثَى. The third one is, how does a male child is being determined in the womb of the mother that is carrying the embryo? And how does a female child used to become a female child from the abdomen of the mother? Was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam an embryologist for them to be asking all these questions? And the fourth one, وَأَخْبِرْنَا كَيْفَ هَذَا النَّبِيُّ الْأُمِيُّ فِي النَّوْمِ. Tell us about the prophet that doesn't know anything and he claims to be a prophet. And he used to receive revelation while he's sleeping. Tell us about that prophet. And lastly, وَمَنْ وَلِيِّهِ مِنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. This prophet that doesn't know anything, who used to be his friend among the angels. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I hope you are following me. You can see how pregnant these questions are. And the person they are asking, وَمَا يَنْتِكُ عَنِ الْأَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. He will never see anything except what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed unto him. All these answers are already on ground. They are already on ground because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not send any messenger or any prophet on an errand and ensure that that prophet will be disgraced. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because as soon as the messenger is being disgraced, that means the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be accepted. They ask him all these questions on this particular ayah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam fa'akhadha alayhim ahad. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam now take another covenant with them. You know, he has given them conditions. Now they have asked him all the questions. So he's now placing them on another condition which is similar to the conditions he has given them. He now said, فَأَخَذَ عَلَيْهِمْ الْعَهْدَ لَإِنْ أَخْبَرِهُمْ لَتَتَّبِعَنَّهُ. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam now said again that if I mention all this to you, you have to follow me. On what? On the part of Allah and that of the message he has given me to come and deliver to you. You can see the condition that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is using in his da'wah. So our brother that are just killing anybody, that don't say la ilaha illallah, you don't wear beard, you are not doing this to sir. Where did they see that blue? Iza dokal amuri intasa'a wa iza intasa'a lam yadik. You don't need to make life difficult for people because you want them to accept what you are doing. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us to be a very fragile vessels, including our females. Not only our females alone, including we are very fragile. We need to be building our iman gradually. Somebody that doesn't pray Hamsu Salawat, you are not talking about Qiyamul Layl for him, that is not compulsory. You are talking about Tahajjud. The original prayer that is supposed to be observed is not observing anyone. And you are not telling about it. Somebody who don't fast Ramadan, that is compulsory. You are not talking about some of Tatawa on Monday and Thursday. Is that not going to be misplacement of priority? So, if you are calling people to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you should have your uslub, your methodology. We shouldn't make every life difficult for people because you want them to come and say, La ilaha illallah. No. See how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is doing it. This is what we should imbibe. Our da'is, our malams that are calling people onto the path. We should know how to talk to people to convince. It's a matter of conviction from our actions, from our doing, and from our sayings. Is it everybody around Masjid al-Haram in Makkah that are looking at Kaaba like this direct? Do you think it's all of them that used to go inside to go and observe their salawat? They will stay behind. Even if they shut down their shop, they will rather go somewhere else and be gisting. So it's not everybody that is inside the Masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that will enter Jannah. Majority of us that we are very far away from Masjid al-Haram here, we will enter Jannah first before the people that are seeing it every day will even enter. Because of the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is in us. That is why Allah keeps telling us, La tuzaku anfusakum wa alamu bimani tako. We should know how we call people to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't make life difficult for them. Rasulullah said, I'm going to answer you, but you are going to what? You are going to follow my path. Now, I want to answer all the questions. Just because of the food that Nabiuna Yaqub said is not eating again, that was what led to all this. Maybe they should have asked him only the food that Nabiuna Yaqub. What concerned the food and the first water that will come out from a man and a woman, and how to determine a male and a female child? What concerned them with that? People will be coming to you that you claim to be an alim, you claim to be a da'i, to come and frustrate you with some questions that doesn't even have answer. They will frustrate you, they will threaten you with lot of things so that you can grow angry. But if you have the mechanism of being patient in you, Allah will guide you. They will not use that your attitude to come to the fold of Islam. It's not until you start killing people. If you kill everybody finish, then who will not remain to come and do the Islam? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam now said, Anshadakum billadhi anzala Tawrat ala Musa. I want you to testify, and I'm committing you unto the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that revealed unto Musa a Torah. I'm testifying with it, and I'm coming unto you, and I want to say everything to you. I'm committing you to the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Atalamuna anna Israila maradan maridon shadida. to let you know that Israel, whom we are referring to, whom Rabiul Akhir, maradan shadidan, he fell sick, and the sickness was so what? So severe. The sickness of Rabiul Akhir alayhi salamullah was so severe. Watola sukmi'i, and the period he used to sick was so long. He has an elongated period of sickness. That was Rabiul Akhir, not Ayuba now. You know, every one of us used to know that it was Rabiul Akhir alayhi salamullah that fell sick for a very long time. Even while we are growing up, when they narrated the history of Rabiul Akhir, they said he was bedridden for 7 years, 7 months, 7 weeks, 7 days, 7 hours, 7 minutes, 7 seconds. I don't know where our people got this. It might be a fabricated narration from the Banu Israel. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Rabiul Ayyuba was bedridden for a very long period of time. To the extent that everything around him left him. He had nothing around him again. Wa Ayyuba isna darubahu anni masani adurra wa anta arhamu rahimin. So Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling us now that Nabi Yaqub alayhi salamullah told us sukmihi. He was bedridden due to his ailment for so long period. For a very longer period, Nabi Yaqub was bedridden. Fanadara lillah, he now took an oath with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Naziran, a oath, la in shafa'ullahu min sukmi'i, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala restore back his health from this ailment that has placed him, that has tied him down, la yuharrimuna ahabba ta'amu ilayhi wa ahabba shurbi ilayhi, that is going to forbid the best of food that he used to eat and the best of drink that he used to drink. Nabi Yaqub alayhi salamullah is signing an oath with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, oh Allah, if you restore back my health, the best food that I used to eat and the best drink that I used to drink, I will make it haram for myself. The way some of us too used to pledge an oath with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, yes, Allah, if you give me a very fantastic job, my first 6 months salary, I will commit it to the mosque that they are building in our community. And after the first month like this, that is when you remember that you have one project that you want to do. Allah, if you let me have this contract, the following umrah like this I'm going to go and thank you Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is when you remember that there is one Khalifa Buwidi in Dubai. You even take your concubine along. You forget your wife that is in the house that has been suffering for you, that has been praying both nights, even without your knowledge, that has been fasting for you. Allah, let my husband get this contract. Let my husband get this contract. When you get the contract finished, that is when you know that once Zuira is there at Idasho. One Talatu is there at Ajah. I need to pay for our seat. We need to go to Dubai together. When you go together, you won't come back in peace. Because the person that worked for the money, that has been playing tirelessly, you forgot her. Brothers, we shouldn't be callous. We shouldn't be kind. Subhanallah. So Nabi Yaqub told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that if you restore back my health, I will not be eating the best of my food again and the best of my drink. You can see who a prophet signing a covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then who are we? Every one of us should think back. Any pledge, any covenant, any promise, any oath that you sign with any human being, try as much as possible to go and fulfill it. Not to talk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You won't go scot-free on it. All the women, all the ladies that you have promised yesterday, that you are going to marry them, that you refuse to marry them, go and seek for their forgiveness. All the people that you have cheated, go and look for them. If you can't go and look for them, pick up your phone, get their contact, and ask them for forgiveness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive every one of us.
And what is the food that Israel used to eat, which is the best of his food? And what is the drink? وَكَانَ أَبُ طَعَامُ إِلَيْهِ لَامُ الْإِبْلِ. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the best of food that Yaqub used to enjoy in his life, which is the best food that he used to eat, is lawful, the meat of camel. You know, camel has a lot of blessings. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَّا الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. May Allah give us a day that we are going to talk about camel alone. وَأُحِبَّ الشَّرْبُ إِلَيْهِ أَلْبَانِهَا. And the best of drink that Yaqub used to love is the milk of the what? Of the camel. Brothers, part of the prophetic medicine, Tibun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that any sickness that is wrong with you, just go and get the urine of a camel. It's a cure to any sickness except old age and death. That is what that urine cannot cure. So Nabi Yaqub, his best food used to be what? The flesh of what? Or the meat of camel. And the best of his drink is what? The milk of camel. He now told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, Allah, if you restore back my health, I'm going to put an embargo on this best food and this best drink. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has answered their question. They also know. They knew it, but they want to test him. But they never knew that the person they want to go and test is a already charged transformer that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already charged. That is why every one of us, we should wake up from our slumber. We should get prepared. They will come and ask us. They want to humiliate us. They want to frustrate us. We should know more about our deen. Not just praying Hamsu Salawat, not just Ramadan, not just going to Hajj, not just going to Umrah, not just being obedient to your parents. No. You know, I used to say it every time. Know the Sirah. Know the history of Islam. Know the history of the Anbiyaullah. Know the history of the Sahabas. They want to come out and test you. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had answered their first question. Faqalu, they now said, Allahumma na'am. Yes, you have gotten it. Faqal, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allahumma ishhad alayhim. Oh Allah, I want you to testify on this, because they have agreed that I have told them the truth. So whatever you are saying, whatever you are discussing, let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be your witness. You can see, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is calling Allah to do what? To be a witness to their discussion. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam now continue, now said, Anshadakum billahi alladhi la ilaha illa huwa alladhi anzala at-taurata ala Musa. I'm testifying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm calling on to you people. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed unto Musa the Torah the second time again. You can see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not taking it with a levity hand. Is committing Allah in whatever he is doing. We too is commit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in whatever we are doing, if really we are sincere to ourselves. أَتَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّ الْمَاءَ الرَّجُلُ. Do you know that the water that used to come out from a man or from a male, Abu used to be a white water. Galizan, that is very pure. And this water will come out when the male has attained the apex level. There has to be 3 types of water that has to come out from a man. It is the 3rd one that can reproduce. And it is the 3rd one that if you come out from you, you must perform ghusl janaba. That one has led to what? State of impurity. The first one will be colorless, and when you touch it, there won't be any frictional. It won't be milky. To just be ordinary water, but to come out from you, apart from urine. And when it flashes on your blood, on your clothes, you are not legally binded to go and do ghusl janaba, because it's just an ordinary water. All this I'm saying is in a book we call Ahadori. The second one is not as whitish as the other one, but he too is not the type that can you be used to do what? To reproduce. If that one too comes out, you are not going to perform ghusl janaba, except the third one. So this one will be a whitish substance that can only be released when you have attained the level of turgidity. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had answered them concerning the water that used to come out from a man. Wama'ul mar'a, but the water that used to come out from a woman, asfarul raqiq is a kind of reddish type of water, and is not hard. Raqiqun is not hard, referring to what? The water that used to come out after the menstrual cycle. You know, a water used to come out. Even if a woman wants to give birth, it is water from the amniotic sac. There has to be a sac inside the abdomen of a woman. It is inside that sac that the embryo, the baby that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to give you, it is inside that sac that the baby will be. So if the woman has attained the stage, the level that she has to deliver that baby, it is that water that will first come out. That sac in which the baby is amniotic, we call it amniotic sac. It is that sac that will first of all get busted. When it gets busted, it is that water that will now start coming out. So as soon as a woman sees that water, she knows that it is time for her to go to hospital. Yoruba people used to say Otin Damira. So after that water, the next thing is for the baby to come out. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling them that water, when it comes out, another one might follow it like blood. Safrul raqiq, that is very flexible, very light, not a hard one. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had answered them the second answer. Fa'ayuma ala kana lahu waladu wa shabihi bi idhnillah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whichever one is above is what will produce a child, and the child will resemble the water that is above. You know, we have spoken about two water now. Let's go to Surah Al-Burida. Surah Al-Tariq. Was-samai wa tariqi wa ma adraka ma tariqi an-najmu as-sakibu in kullu nafsin lama alayha hafizu falyanzuru ila al-insanu kayfa khuliqat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, falyanzur ila al-insanu kayfa khuliqat. Anna sababna al-ma'a sabban. The ma, Allah is talking about the ma here now. Summa sakatna al-arda sakkan fa'ambatna fiha habban wa inaban wa qadba zaytuna wa na'aba. Yahruju min bayni sulbi wa tara'ibi. Yahruju min bayni sulbi wa tara'ibi. The water of the woman, it comes. Yahruju bayna sulbi. This is the sulbi. Yahruju bayna sulbi. The water of that of the woman will come in between our chest, in between our mammary gland. Bayna sulbi wa tara'ibi. It will now go down and go and form whatever it wants to form. Innahu ala rajihi laqadir. And all this, laqadiru Allahu jalla fi shanihi. So that true water we are talking about of Allah, of a woman, yahruju min bayni sulbi wa tara'ib. It comes from here and runs down to where he has to go and perform the development that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to develop in her. Yours come from the down here, in between the navel and the knee. Our own come from the top, in between the two mammary glands. And go and meet where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already designated, and you now form the embryo after 40 days times 3, after 120 days. That is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will perfect the creation of any human being inside the womb of the mother after 120 days. So before 120 days, permissibility of an abortion based on condition of health challenges. You know, I put a clause now. If the pregnancy is tantamount of getting the life of the woman away. You can abort it before 120 days. It's not an abortion. Because you want to save the life of whom? Of the mother. But after 120 days, the baby has what? Has been formed. Is now a human being. So before 120 days, the baby is just, it's not a baby yet, because the soul has not been what? Has not been inserted in it. So before that time, you have not become a murderer. But after 120 days, if you do anything, you are a murderer. You are not different from somebody that is killing people on the highway. Even if it is 121 days, but at 119 day, 119 and a half day, you are not a murderer. I'm not encouraging you to go and be terminating it on that day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told them concerning these two waters. I hope you have gotten it. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam now said, Inna ala ma'u rajul ma'ul maryat kana zakaran bi-iznillah. If the water of that of the man is the one that first of all meet the egg of the woman, to fertilize the egg of the woman, right? If the water of the man, which is the spermatozoa, right, is the one that first meet up with the eggs in the ovary of the woman, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ensure that the baby that will be produced will be a male child. If the water of the man, of the male, is the one that gets to the place where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to mix that of the man and that of the woman together. If it is the water of the man that gets there first, then it is a male child that will be produced. So those of you that you are expecting, you should know now. Without even doing the scan, maybe you can tell us. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, by the grace of Allah, that is what will happen. Wa inna ala ma al mar'ati ma'an rajul kana usna bi iznillah, kana unsa bi iznillah. But if it is the water of the woman that is the force that got to that place, that means it is a male, female child. Allah is going to bless them with a daughter, not a son. So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed those of us that He has blessed with children. So those of you that you have 2 boys, so it was your daughter that get there before that of your woman. That's why you are able to chance her. It's not your power. You can see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the best of the gynecologists, as the best of the embryologists. So if you are seeing any doctor now, Professor Emeritus in gynecology, who taught Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He was the first doctor. He didn't have any medical facility. He didn't have any labor work. He didn't have any theater. See what he's telling us in Quran. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if anybody is doing bragado to you, tell them that our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has already told them. But Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who will meet you? He doesn't know how to read and he doesn't know how to write, but he knows everything. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we are very opportune that we came as he is among his what? Among his disciples. May Allah let him be our intercessor on the day of Qiyamah. Amen. I hope you are following it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is answering them. Every one of us should get prepared. They will come and ask us, what do you want to tell them if you don't know? Fasalu ala zikri in kuntum la ta'lamun. We should go and seek for the knowledge if we don't know. We should ask if we don't know. Don't be ashamed when it comes to that of Allah. Say it, I don't know. And Allah will let you know. Qalu na'am. They now testify to you that yes, you have spoken. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allahumma ishhadu alayhim. Oh Allah, I want you to testify because they have agreed with what? With what I have told them. Qala wa anshadakum billadhi anzala tawrata ala Musa. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam now continue. You know they asked him 4 or 5 questions. He now said, Allah, I'm asking you to be my witness as I am calling them on all what I'm telling them. As you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that revealed a Torah unto Prophet Musa alayhi salamullah. Ata'lamuna anna hadha nabiyyul ummi tanamu aynahu wa la yanamu qalbuhu. I want to tell them that the prophet that they are talking about, that he is a novice, that doesn't know how to read, to write, that he used to sleep. Yes, he used to sleep, but his qalbu, his heart, doesn't sleep. Aynahi, his sight, used to sleep. Wala yanamu qalbuhu, but his heart doesn't sleep. So every time Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam heart used to be at work. He received message, he used it to think about how the Islam is going to be well propagated and well accepted. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told them that you said his eyes used to sleep. Yes, his eyes used to sleep, but his heart doesn't sleep. So he doesn't forget anything and he knows everything. Akola Naam. Immediately they attested to it that yes, we accept you. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allahumma ishad. Oh Allah, I want you to testify to what they have accepted from me. Qalu. Then I said, wa anta now, al-an, wa anta you, al-an mu'disna min fa'adasna man waliyika min al-malaika. We want you now to tell us who is your friend among the angels. They are asking Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam now told them, Inna waliyyi Jibril, that my friend among the angels is who? Is Angel Gabriel, Jibril. Does it mean that other angels, they are his enemies? No. But he is the one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to send to him. وَلَمْ يَبْعَثُ اللَّهُ نَبِيًّا قَطُّ إِلَّا وَهُوَ وَلِيِّهِ. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never raise any prophet. He will never send any messenger except he choose one angel for him to be his friend. So my own friend among the angels that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assigned to me is whom? Angel Gabriel. فَهَدَا نُفَرِّقُكَ وَلَوْ كَانَ وَلِيُّكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I chose him for you because I know he's going to be with you while you are there, and if you are not there, that he will be safeguarding you. He won't allow evil to befall you. He will always be in communication with you. Allah said, I'm the one that choose Rasulullah, that choose Jibril alayhi salamullah for you. That was how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam answered the prayer, answered their questions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now testified that man kana aduwwa li Jibrila, that Angel Gabriel wasn't Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's enemy. فَإِنَّهُ نَزَلَ عَلَى قَلْبِكَ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, because he is the one that we used to send to come and reveal into your heart whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has as a message. It is Angel Gabriel that Allah used to send to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. He is the one that used to testify to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had done in the past, that is going to deliver to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a message. وَهُدَى وَبُشْرًا لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And this Angel Gabriel is the one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used as a guide for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he is the one that will bring guidance, and he is the one that will bring glad tidings that, oh Prophet Muhammad, tell those that believe in you that this is their reward in this world and in the hereafter. So how can it be the enemy or the person that they claim to be the enemy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Because some never believe in the Angel Gabriel, and that was the reason why the Jews, they were asking Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam concerning these verses. So we have heard that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, we are talking about Nabi Yaqub alayhi salamullah. The food he said you will not be eating if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala restore back his health. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had told us that we have made lawful unto them all the foods except the one that Yaqub has made unlawful to himself. And if the leader has made something unlawful to himself, you know, the followers too will also emulate the leader. So Allah then said, Kul fatu bi Tawratin. We are giving you the Torah. You bring it out. Fatiluha in kuntum sadiqin. You should now read it as we are revealed unto you people. In kuntum sadiqin. If truly you are believing people. If truly you are sincere people. Other than this, that Rabiul Akhir have said, is there any other thing? Why are you going in contrary to the dictate of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah is proving himself right, that we have made a lot of provisions for this Banu Israel. Except what their prophet Yaqub, you know, Musa alayhi salamullah, he came long time after Rabiul Akhir. But the person we can call the father, the ancestor of the Banu Israel is whom? Rabiul Akhir. So we have made everything in abundance for you except what Yaqub made unlawful for himself. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in this verse of Quran. I hope you are getting it. That is Banu Israel. So they challenged Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Allah gave them the sincere understanding that they need to hold on to through Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah told us again in Surah Al-Imran, Surah An-Nisa, Quran chapter 4, verse 46. From verse 44 to verse 46, Allah still wants to talk about this Banu Israel. We are talking about them because of their ungratefulness attitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever we are seeing that they are doing today to our Muslim brothers in Gaza and in Palestine, it's not going to be a new thing, and it's not going to stop, as I told us at the inception like 4 weeks ago. This is not going to be the end. This is how it's going to continue at time of Qiyamah, because it didn't start now. These Jews, these Banu Israel, they challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They told Allah in Surah An-Nisa, Quran chapter 4, verse 44, that Alam tara, O you Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, illa alladhina utu nasiba min al-kitab, those that we are giving the scripture, that this is the scripture that you need to follow, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave we Muslims the Quran. He gave every generation, He gave them their own scripture that they need to follow so that they can be rightly guided. Yataruna dalalatan. They left aside the scripture that used to be a guide, that's supposed to be a guide for them, and they are following the wrong path. They say we are not following that prophet. We are not following whatever I say. Maybe they are tales from the fables of the legends. We are not going to follow him. Yataruna dalalatan. Yataruna al-huda bil dalala. They are using misguidance to buy, they are using guidance to buy misguidance. That means they are not accepting the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why yuriduna an tadilu sabila? And they want people to join them in their misguidance. Those are whom? The Banu Israel that Allah is talking about. They want people to join them so that they won't be the only one. Allah now told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Wallahu, me Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a'lamu bi adaikum, I know your enemies. So Allah is telling us invariably that these Jews, these Banu Israel amongst them, they are what? They are our enemies. Those that are not on the path that we are, on the path of Qala Allahu, Qala Rasul, they are whom? They are adaina. They are our enemies. Wallahu a'lamu bi adaikum, O Muhammad, I'm telling you, and you should pass it on to your people. Me Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala know your enemy. Wa kafa billahi waliyan. Me Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, and we will be there for you to support you, to comfort you at your time of adversity. And when you are in a state of tranquility, don't forget me Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people, they used to remember Allah alone when the road is rough. You people that you are not in a state of tranquility, a similitude of what our brothers are passing through in Gaza and some other places in the world, that they are being persecuted, that dehumanization is happening over there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ وَلِيًّا, I'm enough for you. I can comfort you if you have the belief in me. Wakafa billahi nasiran. And I'm the only one who can give you nasr, who can liberate you. What can make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala liberate our brothers in Gaza? It is their belief. It is their iman alone that can suffice them. We too, what can liberate us in this our country? It is our belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can use to liberate us. Wallahu a'lamu bi'adaikum wa kafa billahi waliyan wa kafa billahi nasira. This particular ayah, if you have too much enemy in your place of work, in your family, in your neighborhood, wherever you are, they are frustrating your life, they are making life very difficult for you. You say, Wallahu a'lamu bi'adahi, or Wallahu a'lamu bi'adaina. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to us, and I say, Wallahu a'lamu bi'adaikum. Kum is referring to us. But your own enemy, you say, Wallahu a'lamu bi'adahi. If you want to say collaboratively now, we say, Wallahu a'lamu bi'adaina. Wakafa billahi waliyan. Wakafa billahi nasira. This is an ayah that will be very useful for every one of us. That's why I used to say it every time. We Muslims, we should not be scared. If you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you are following Qur'an al-Karim, we should not be scared. We have a lot of things inside Quran that we can use to fight our enemies. Wallahu a'lamu bi'adaikum wa kafa billahi nasiran wa kafa billahi waliyan wa kafa billahi nasiran. I'm giving it up to you. Me, I've used it several times, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me victory. You don't need to run to anybody. You don't need to do 1 million. Adadul Anbiya 333. No. Wallahu a'lamu bi'adai. Allah, you know their numbers of my enemies in the families, among my siblings, in our place of work, those that want me to fall down, those that doesn't want me to get home, those that want to go attack me on the road. Wallahu a'lamu bi'adai. Allah, you know them, because me, I don't know them. Wakafa billahi waliya. Allah, you are my protector. You are the only one that can shield me. Wakafa billahi nasira. I'm a very fragile person. I don't have power. I'm a very weak person. You are telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what you are. Already he knows. But you are telling him because you want him to come to your aid. There is a way we used to use this ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, he told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, min alladhina adu, among the Jews that disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the message and the prophet of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not on Prophet Muhammad alone, right from the time that they have started. You arifuna kalima life. You arifuna kalima and mawadihi. They used to change the base of the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The sayings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they change it from where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed it. Yastaruna kalam Allah bisamanan qalila. They use because of money. It's not today that you see big reputable scholars. They will be given misplacement of priority of the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ensure that the muluk, the kings, the powerful people, the emperors have their ways. They will twist the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to suit their own purpose. That is why we have ulama isu, the irresponsible scholars. They will twist the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just to satisfy them. That yes, these are the people in charge. We want to align with them. Right? They will not be choosing the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to suit them because of what they will get from them. There was a time I told us about one malam. I don't like mentioning them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Surah Al-Insan, Al-Ata al-Insanu hinu min ad-da'ri lam yakun shay'an maskura. On Friday sermon like this on the member, the imam that was doing khutbah, he said that it was the family of Ata in Kogi State that Allah mentioned Quran. Al-Ata. Do you know the meaning of Al-Ata? In Joshua Bayi, has it come unto you? That is the meaning of the Ata. Alif wa ta wa ya'u maksura. The attack there means, has it come and meet you? So the meaning of attack in Kogi State, is it come and meet you? But because of what they will get, he said, Kai, Oko our family attack Lord that on Qur'an. Allah said, Allah ta'ala insanu. Has it come to your memory to think? He knew me a diary, the time you are using now, and the time that is coming. Have you think about it? Lam yakun shay'an maskura. Or the time that you are nobody. Allah is calling us. He's reawakening us from our state of slumber. That in kun yibachi ina sun tasheku. Tẹ́bá ti sun àsìkò iye, mo fẹ́ kí yín ẹ ti sùn gbàgbé. Rántí pé àsìkò kan ń bọ̀. Lam yakun shay'an maskura. Àsìkò kan ti wá. Lam yakun shay'an maskura. Mo pè ń Saheed Olaosebikan. Mo pè ní Abdulrahman ọmọ Sikiru. Mo pè ní Jami ọmọ Alifa. Lam yakun shay'an maskura. Níbi ní kankan. You are nobody. That is why we enter one retí pé being engineer, being professor. Lam yakun shay'an maskura. Wa sawfa yakunu maskura. You are still going to become something that they will never remember again. You are not in existence. Tell Elana now. Abi? Immediately you die. Who will call professor? What's your bikini? Oku Gawa. So, kiwa di fariwa. Me burimo. They won't say bring the dead body of professor. They say bring the corpse. So where are all the professor emeritus that you have gotten? That's what Allah is saying. And somebody is saying Allah so family atani. So we continue to be seeing this at Yawm al-Qiyamah. Those that also fail to support our Muslim brothers that are being persecuted, that genocide has become their food over there. From our Muslim brothers in the Arabian Peninsula, it was a certain alliance that they've had with these Europeans. You know, I keep saying it, the last verses of Surah Al-Anfal, I keep saying it every Friday. If you can go and think about it and relate it. 4 weeks ago, I did the tafsir extensively and relate it. Illa ala qawmin bainakum wa bainahum misak. That is the only conditional clause that Allah put there, except if there is an agreement between you and them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that. That Rasul, the Muslims that were in Mecca, that they were not opportune to run after you, to come and meet you in Medina. If they call for your help, you can help them, except if there is an agreement between you and the Quraysh that you won't come and fight them. But if that condition is not there, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam go and rescue the believers that are in where? That are in Mecca. Now, let us ask our Arabian brothers that fail or that refuse to support our Muslim brothers in Gaza Street. Is there any agreement between them and the Europeans? Is there any agreement between them and Americans? Because we have seen, I told us here last week, $100 billion was what the American president has declared to use to support the Israelis on our border. As at yesterday, by this time, 24 hours ago, 9,000 of our of human beings, because they are not just Muslims alone, as I told us, not only Muslims that are in Gaza. We have the Jews, Orthodox Jews, because the Jews that are fighting them, they are secular Jews. We have Christians that are in Gaza. So if we Muslims, we are talking now, which we need to talk. We are fighting for three things, as I mentioned at the tail end of Khutbah last week. We are fighting for Masjid al-Aqsa, which I'm going to talk about, inshallah. We are fighting for our Muslim brothers that are there. We are fighting for humanity. Hayatul Insaniya. And as I told us, somebody in between Lagos and Ibadan there, a very reputable person, in this country or in this world, sitting down somewhere praying for the Israelis to have victory over the Gaza people. Now we are now telling him, at that your age of 88, you are not supposed to be in a gullible state like that. Because the people in Gaza, they are not only Muslims, your fellow Christians, they are also there that they are being dehumanizing. Hope you are following me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now said, min alladhina adu yu'arifuna kalimallahi amma wadihi. Among those Yahudis, the Jews, and the Christians, that they are changing the word of Allah. They are twisting the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of what they will get. Since this battle has started now, since this war, this is not even a battle, this is a war. A battle is what you are going to have a mutual agreement, like let us go and meet on social field. But war is a kind of fight that you can just go and invade or attack people unexpectedly. Which of the Arab country, as I'm talking, which of the Arab country has supported our Muslim brothers? So also, our scholars, some of our scholars, will be doing misplacement of priority on the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they are doing that, those that will think they are the learned ones, they are the alims that need to guide us on the right path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then those that didn't know or doesn't have the knowledge, what do you expect them to do? So they will be changing the wording of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will now be saying, Sami'na, we heard you. Wa asoina. We know you are saying the truth. Wa asoina, but we listen to you, but we never follow what you are saying. We know you are saying the truth. Wa asoina, but we won't follow you. You see some part of our place in the south here, some elderly people that is supposed to be supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to let them end well. That the only thing that is in between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just the remaining 1 minute. They will now be telling you some tales that is beyond them and that of their age, or the one that is within their experience. Now be saying, is it that small boy that will now be telling us about Allah? We are there when they marry his mother. Say, Rabiul Akhir, you know I'm sorry, long for you don't do that when they are telling you about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You look at the gravity of the words, not the age or the status or the person talking. Is different. But when you are talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is the message that you take. And I keep telling us, we should be very, very careful on the kind of messages that we listen to and the kind of malam that we listen to. Go to social media now. You see a malam that said, come on, Jaja, Kosinto Burunu, come on, Jaja, for a Muslim, that a Muslim can eat dog. During Ramadan, he said Quran was not revealed in Ramadan. Every one of us knows, right from our childhood. Every one of us knows that a dog meat, a dog himself is haram for us. But we can have dog at home on condition. One, it has to be in a restricted environment. You won't have access to where you are doing your daily activities. Two, it must be a trained dog, especially for hunters. And if you want to have it at home, it must also be trained. Majority of people that have dogs in their various homes now, how many of these dogs are trained? Allah places different kind of conditions on animals that have incisors, that have teeth, that can pierce you, that can pierce every other animal, that can pierce every other living thing. Allah made them unlawful for us to eat. And one man is sitting down there. Why must you bring up controversial issues every time? Say because you want to become famous? Every time. It's one man here. That's not Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, they will be saying, Samina wa asayna. The Jews and those that disbelieve in what you have brought, they will be saying, yes, we heard you, but we won't follow you. Wasma agera musmain. Those that listen as well, apart from them that they have heard the message, they will be denying them for them not to follow what you have told them about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also with their tongues, they are listening not to him. With their tongues, they will be saying different kind of frivolities about Allah, about Rasul, about the Sahabatul Kiram. It is this Lagos state that somebody said that Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu is a beggar, was a beggar. Abu Hurairah that he has gotten Al-Jannah before he died. You that you are condemning him now, we don't know how you are going to end up. Though that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already said, radiallahu anhum wa radu anhum. You are not condemning them. Who are you? And what are you? What do you know? What you don't know is more than what you think you know. There are small boys now, they are encyclopedia. And you are alim over 60 years. But small boy that just finished Tawji or that just finished something now, will finish you up. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you your time. Use the fame very well and return it back to Allah and return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in an honorable state. Not to be discuss controversial issues. Every time, saying in a candy. They will not be saying, Wata'ana fi deen, and they will be frustrating people that are following the deen. They will be mocking the deen. Part of them are these Yehudis. We have them inside among our Muslims too. Allah now said, Walau annahum, I didn't be the law. Qalu samina wa atana. That, we have heard and we have listened to you. Wa ansurna, and we are expecting nasr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are expecting honor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are expecting help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lakana khairan lahum. It will have been the best for them. We have heard what this malam said, and we are going to follow it. And the reward we are expecting from Allah. When you do something good, what are you expecting? Reward. Allah said, I didn't be. They are stood firmly. And he said, we have heard. Wata'ana, we are following. One, surina, we are expecting the reward from Allah. Lakana khairan lahum, it will have been better for them. Walakin, but, la'anahumullahu bi kufurihim. Allah cursed them because of their disbelief. If the Jews, the Banu Israel, that follow Musa from Egypt on their way going to Baitul Maqdis, if they didn't disbelieve, will they have followed Musa's Amiriyu, who fabricated a calf for them? After that, there was another escapade from this Banu Israel. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Walakin la'anahumullah. Allah said, I have cursed them. The remnant of those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of course is this Benjamin Netanyahu and the categories of them. Fala yuminu illa qalila. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they will never believe except few among them. As we are talking, majority of some Jews, they are still saying that what these Jews are doing is dehumanization. And part of the United Nations law is that you must not dehumanize human beings. Your fellow human being is part of their laws, is part of their constitution. So there are some of these Orthodox Israelis, Orthodox rabbis, Orthodox Jews that are saying what these people, Israelis, from their leader, what they are doing to people in Gaza is not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to do. That is part of the condition, part of the characteristics of the Banu Israel. Allah talked about them again in Surah Al-Imran, Quran chapter 3, verse 181. Allah said, من الذين ماذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا? Who amongst you is going to lend Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala money? Who amongst you will give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala money? من الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا فيضاعفه أضعافا كثيرا? Who will borrow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 1 naira so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him 10 naira? When the Jews had this, they started mocking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala up and down. That Allahu huwa fakir. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a wretched person. These Jews we are talking about, the Banu Israel we are talking about, is this same Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that created them? This is what they said about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah now revealed this particular ayah in Al-Imran verse 181. Laqad sami'a Allah. Allah said, definitely, tell them Muhammad. Laqad me Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sami'a, I've heard. Qawlul ladhina, the wordings that they have uttered. What they have said, me Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have heard it. That what? Qalu. Inna Allah fakirun wa nahnu aghniya. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a wretched person and we are the rich persons. See the creators of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying this to their creator. And what happened? You have heard the essence of the revelation, right? That led to this verse. That Allah said, who is going to borrow me money? Is it Katangwa market that Allah wants to go to? Or he wants to go to Monday market in Borno State to go and buy what he wants to buy? It was a parable that who amongst you that are free have enriched? Who will bring his money to go and invest? Who will help in building mosques? Who will help in nurturing the orphan? Who will help in sending people? Who will pay for people's hajj? That is what Allah meant here. And announcing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is poor. And Allah too responded to them. That I've heard you. What you people have said. That me, Allah, am poor. And you, the Banu Israel, you are what? You are rich. What happened? Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, one very day, he entered into the mudarris, into the class where the Jews assembled themselves. So there was a particular leader among them. I don't need to be reading the Arabic again, it's very long. There was a particular leader who was like a tutor, or like a teacher, or like a lecturer among them. His name was Fanahas. He was the one standing in front of them that was lecturing all the Jews in that their mudarris, in that their classroom. So Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala now came around. He entered, he now saw them. And what they were discussing that time was that they were richer than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know Abu Bakr, he was not a kind of person that has the characteristics of being blunt like Umar radiallahu ta'ala. You know Umar, we know him now, all of us know him. And a very action man. The next thing he said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, leave him for me. And let me just chop his head off. Anybody that misbehaves, that is the next thing that Umar used to ask Rasulullah. Just grant me the permission. Let me chop off his head. So that his mouth that is using to say nonsense, the mouth will not be anywhere to be found. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he too, he behaved like Umar that very day. As he had this from the mouth of an ass, immediately he gave him a dirty slap in front of his students, the remaining Jews. Abu Bakr now said, don't you know the gravity of what you have said? He said, what is so gravitational in what I have said? Is it not your Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that said that who is going to lend me money so that I can multiply it? Multiplying it means that he's going to pay interest. It was that class tutor that was telling Abu Bakr this. That, was it not your Lord that was asking for money. The way if me and you to go to the bank, there is no money you borrow in the bank that they won't put interest. And you know in Islam, interest is what? Is haram. And interest is different from riba. It's different from usury. We have talked about this. He now said, if not that your Lord is fakirun, he won't mention that in the Quran. A lot of communication, a lot of exchange of words happened between him and Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala. After some time, Fan'as, he left. He now went to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to go and report Abu Bakr. As he was going, Abu Bakr also followed him. Abu Bakr also followed him because he must go there to go and fabricate some things. You know, anybody that is not sincere, if the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in you, you always be looking for an escape route. So you want to look for every opportunity to nail down your opponent so that you can be on the defensive side. When they got to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullah, he explained to Rasulullah now asked Abu Bakr, Ma amaluka ala man sanatu ya Abu Bakr? What gave you the audacity on what you have done? The boldness that you have gotten, where did you get it from? And what has he done that led to you to be beating him, slapping him? Faqal, Abu Bakr said, Ya Rasulullah, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inna adu Allah, qala qawlan azima. This enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have said a very grievous statement. Qawlan azima. A very grievous statement he has uttered unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Za'ama anna Allah fakiru wa annahum alimu ganiya. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wretched, is languishing in abject poverty, and they are rich. Falama qala zalik. He said after saying this, Gadabatullah, I felt very angry because of Allah. Abu Bakr said, after he said this, I became very angry because of Allah. Mimman qala, concerning what he has said. Fadarabtu wajahu. Immediately I gave him a very slap, a very dirty slap. Fajahada, and he started exchanging words with me. Fanhaza dhalika qala. When Abu Bakr revealed this or narrated this to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, waqala, and said, Ma qultu dhalika. He said, I didn't say so. Fanas said he didn't say so after Abu Bakr reported or narrated the incident that happened in between him and Fan'as. فَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيمَا قَالَ فَانْعَاسٍ رَدًّا عَلَى تَصْدِيقًا لِأَبِي بَكْرٍ. And that was where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now revealed this particular verse just to testify that what Fan'as said is true, and the revelation, essence of the revelation of this particular verse is to clarify, and to purify, and to attestate the action of whom? Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu. I hope we have gotten it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, they said in their own mouth that me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, am wretched and they are rich. Allah now continues saying, Sanaktubu. We are going to write it down for them. Maqalu, what they have said. That is why whatever every one of us we are doing, Kiraman katibina, ya'lamuna ma taf'alun. Kiraman, the honorable people, katibina, they are writing it. Who are those? The angels that Allah assigned to us. Allah assigned two angels to every one of us. The one that is writing all your good works, and the one that is writing all your unfortunate works. You know, on the day of Qiyamah, they won't allow us to talk. We won't talk the way I'm talking like this. And that very day, there is a slate that is hanged on our neck. They will just remove the slate. It is on that slate that everything about you is being written. They will just deliver the slate to you. Ikra kitabaka kafa binafsika yoma aleka asiba. Continue reading. All what you have done is here in your slate. Dispute anyone that is not what you have done. And that day, al-yawma nukhtimu ala afwaihim wa tukallimuna aydihim wa tashhadu arjuluhum bima kanu yaksibun. Al-yawma nukhtimu ala afwaihim. That very day, their mouth will be padlocked. وَتُكَلِّمُنَا أَيْدِيهِمْ, their hands will be talking. وَتَشْهَدُ أَرْجُلُهُم, their legs will be testifying to whatever the hand is saying. بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ, concerning what they have done while they were on the earth. We can't escape. Can't escape. Let every one of us continue to be tracing our footpaths. May Allah let us be among those that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will intercede for the day of Qiyamah. Amen. Allah said, "Sanaktubu ma qalu," what they have said, we are going to put it in written. Wa qatilahumul anbiya. We said it last week. We read it. We mentioned it that these Banu Israel, they used to kill the prophet that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to send to them. If not, Musa alayhi salamullah was so strong and so ferocious innately. They used to kill all their Anbiya. Began hacking without any justification. Allah said, tough. Whenever you return back to me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are going to be chastised. We are going to give you a severe punishment. It is the Banu Israel that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not let us be among those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will chastise in this world and the hereafter. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabiy ya ayyuhallazina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us opportunity to gather here again today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this as an act of ibadah. In continuation with what we've been discussing concerning the Banu Israel, we are saying all this and we are sharing this knowledge with us to know that these Banu Israel, they are ungrateful elements to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to deal with them in this world and is going to deal with them in the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Ma'idah, Quran chapter 50, verse 60. Quran chapter 5, verse 60. Allah said, Kul al-unabi'ukum bishari min dhalika masubata indallah. O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, tell them, al-unabi'ukum bishari. Is there anybody that can bring the news of sharrin, any calamity that will befall you, other than we, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Can anything happen to any one of us other than outside the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah said, these Jews, these Banu Israel, man la'anahullah, they are among them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already caused. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is angry upon them. The anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is upon them. Allah has caused them, and his anger is even already, despite the fact that they have been caused. Lahanahumullahu wa ghadiballahu wa ghadabullahi alayhim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had caused them. Not only causing them, he placed his anger upon them. Waja'ala minhum al-qiradata wal khanazira. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, part of his curse and his anger over them, he turned them to apes and swines. I have narrated how they became how they became apes and swines. I narrated it last week concerning the people of Sabbath. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he turned them to apes and swines. And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu asked, can we say the Banu Israel of today, they are the descendants of those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned to apes and swine? Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu wants us to know. And I said, he heard from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the one reporting it. And we know Abdullah ibn Mas'ud used to be the Sahibun Nahlai Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used to be the one that used to pack the shoes of Rasul. Anywhere Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going, he wants to enter anywhere, he's the one that will pack the shoe. That's why you see some big reputable malams with their almajiris. Anywhere they want to enter like this, they will pack their shoe. So it's part of sunnah that we can use to respect our reputable scholars. The ones that used to do Al-Ramma, it started from the time of Nabi Musa alayhi salamullah. That Yoruba used to say, Malame Arawasi. Ko? Nabi Musa used to be a stammerer. Be ya magana sosai. Ko? And for him to deliver the message of Allah confidently, for them to hear what he wants to pass to the community, he wants to pass to the generation. That was when he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ijali waziran min ali aruna ahi. He was the one that asked. And because of what? Because his tongue was tied with a knot. We all know the story of how he picked an amber in the palace of Pharaoh. That is where Al-Ramma came out from. Arawasi, malami arawasi, anakumullah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, true, as narrated by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he now said, Prophet told them, Inna Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, lam yu'liku qawman, Allah will not destroy any group of people. Aw yamusahu qawman, or to delete, yuhlaku, or yuhliku, is to totally erase them, to perish them. Aw yamusahu, is to clean them. There is difference between to perish something and to clean. You can still come back there. Even if you clean something, right, you might still see the traces. It's just like you using a pen or a pencil to write something and you use an eraser to, that is, you are cleaning. But if you don't want to see the traces of what you write, like these papers are on my hand now, I can tear them into pieces and set them ablaze. I won't see the traces again. But if I clean what I write now, I can use Tipex to clean all the biro or whatever. I can still see the traces. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Inna Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, lam yuhliku qawman, Allah will not perish any group or any generation. Aw yamusahu, or to clean any group or any generation. Fayaj'al lahum nasalan wala akiban, and for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to now leave their remnant. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not clean or will not perish or wipe off the earth's surface any generation that is hunger and his curse is upon them. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has done that, to not leave their traces, He will wipe them off in totality. That is what this hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is telling us. وَإِنَّ الْكِرْدَةَ, concerning the apes that we talked about, that this ayah is telling us that Allah جَعَلْنَاهُمْ قِرَادَةً وَالْحَذِيرًا, that Allah turned them to apes and swine. وَحَنَذِيرًا, and the swines. كَانَتْ قَبْلَ ذَلِكَ, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is telling us that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already cleared them away. So the Banu Israel we are seeing now, they are not the descendants of those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned to apes and swines. But the trait of what happened, or the trait that those that Allah wiped off from the earth of it, their trait will still be transmitted. Because it's going to be progeny upon progeny, progeny upon progeny, as Abdullah ibn Mas'ud told us here. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now said, despite the fact that we turn some of them to apes, we turn some of them to swines, what about the Tawgut? Some of them, they are remnants that we left behind as a sample. Some of them are still worshipping what? Tawgut. They are worshipping idols. Despite all these signs. Those that will not hear, those that will not, they will hear but they won't heed. Ulaika sharrun makana. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, those people, their group, their category, their class, those particular set of people, sharrun makana, woe unto them and where they live. Wa adallu an sawa is sabil. And woe unto the path that they have told. So we that we are in the middle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, talk glad tidings to us. That we are going to be, if you are following the dictators of Allah and that of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we are going to be among those that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will intercede for on the day of Qiyamah. Those are Banu Israel. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about them again in Surah Al-Ma'idah, Quran chapter 5, verse 51. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Allah said, oh you that you believe, you the Muslims, you the mu'min, la tattakhidhu al-yahuda wan-nasara awliya ba'dhum awliya ba'd. Don't take the Jews, the Yahudis, wan-nasara, and the Christians. Don't take them. Awliya ba'd awliya. Don't take them as your bona fide friends. We've been talking about the Yehudis, the Jews. Let's talk about the Christians now. Allah told us, وَلَنْ تَرِدُوا عَنْكَ الْيَهُودَ وَلَا النَّصَارَى حَتَّى تَتَّبِعَ مِلَّتَهُمْ. They will never be pleased with you until you follow their path. Yes, in this country, everybody was fighting for Muslim ticket. Yes, you all got the Muslim ticket. Yes, the Muslim ticket favored you. Number 1, number 2 citizens of this country, they are Muslims. Check all the appointments they have done now. 1 to 10. Check how many Muslims are there. Abi? The people you are clamoring for are Muslim. Are they sincere Muslims? Check all the sensitive positions here. Among the Muslim tickets, among the Muslim aspirants, we have somebody that said, yes, I'm a Muslim, and my partner is the other one. We place Quran here, we place the other book here. For 40 years that we are married, Quran and Bible, they are not fighting each other. And the other Muslim, what can he say when the senior Muslim has occupied everywhere? Majority of all the people that are holding this position that are not Muslim, majority of them are from RCCG. Because somebody that is blowing the trumpet is from there, the senior pastor for that matter. And you know the power of a woman is more than that of the attorney of the world. Do you see anywhere that a king wants to enter the inner room and enter with his crown? That he wants to do sunnah? Or malam de babara wani, this is our sheikh, may ilimi, may tafsir and everything. If you want to enter the inner room, you have to drop all that your tafsir somewhere. Or else Ajiazuera will mess you up. Kọ́kọ́ gbàgbé pàfà ní sẹ́rí báyìí èmi lọ́lọ́ yín tẹ́ bá fẹ́ sin tẹ́sì. Wọ́n jù wá lọ bí gbogbo yín o. All data lọ́rọ̀ wọn sọ pé ní èmi lọ́kọ ìyàwó mi kò dé nínú yàrá o. Walan tarido anka di Yahuda wala Nasara. They will never be sincere with you. All what they be, the relationship between you and them will always be a deceitful one. Allah is saying, la tattakhudhu al-yahuda, the Jews, don't take them. Wan Nasara and the Christian, awliya ba'dum awliya ba'din. Don't take them as your friend because they are friends of each other. They are friends of each other. How do you expect Benjamin Netanyahu and Joe Biden to now support our Muslim brothers? They will never. And our Muslim brothers, they were supposed to support their Muslim brothers in Gaza. They have an alliance with them. King Faisal, the great grandfather of the one that is there, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia now, his great grandfather in 1973. He said, after the killing of Gamal al-Nasir, the president of Egypt then, after this World War of 1948, between the Banu Israel when they established the state of Israel and the state of Arabs in the Palestine. After the death of Gamal al-Nasir, who was on the support of the Muslims in Gaza, in Palestine precisely, he was not supporting the Israelis. There was a meeting in between him and King Faisal of Saudi Arabia then in 1973. not quite long, that Gamal and Nasir of Egypt died. King Faisal now said that if it is remaining my last blood to drop for me to support these Arabs, it's better for me to sacrifice myself than to support these Europeans. Somebody from America now said, if you have that intention, you know you have oil rigs, you have oil fields. We come from America, we are going to burn everything. We set them ablaze, that you now become impoverished. King Faisal responded back to him that yes, you know our forefathers, our ancestors, they are desertic people that used to live in desert. They drink water and they eat dates. So if you bomb everything that is our financial resources now, we go back to the desert. The people that are there today, do they have the audacity of saying this? Brothers, I'm asking us, since this war started, how many Arabian countries, how many of our Muslim kings, how many of our Muslim presidents, how many of our Muslim emperors have come out boldly? Every year, Saudi Arabia used to have a grant that they used to use to support the budget of Israel. So, you see where we, Muslims, we have sold out ourselves. That is why I keep on asking us to go back to the last 5 verses of where? Surah Al-Anfal. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not asked to leave, if not because of persecution, and it was a divine communication that leave. But they never told him that he wasn't a what? He wasn't a son of the soil. They even confirm it. La uqsimu bi hadhal baladi wa anta hillun bi hadhal baladi. You are a true son of the soil. The Arabs that are being dehumanized now on that Palestinian land, as we have read 3 weeks ago, how Nabi Musa alayhi salamullah brought them into Aridul Muqaddas. That this Banu Israel said, oh Musa, you and those that believe in you, go. After they crossed the Red Sea, they told Musa that go. Inna awuna qaiduna. Idab anta wa rabbuka. Inna faqatilu. Inna awuna qaidun. You Musa go, and those that believe in you, you and your Lord, go and fight those Arabs. Fa inna aqawmun jabbarun. They are the ones that said it with their mouth. These Israelis. That there are some people there that are already residing on that particular land, whom are Arabs. Qawmun jabbarun, mighty people, powerful people. But today, whom qawmun du'afa, they are weak people today. Quran confirmed those Arabs of yesterday that they are powerful people. Who uttered that statement? They are the Banu Israel. The powerful people of today, of yesterday, they are the weak people of today because of their alliance. King Faisal, he said that we are not going to have any associated relationship with these European people. We cut all ties. We won't have any relationship with them. We won't go to their embassy. We won't have any airport. We won't have our aircraft flying to their airport. We are not going to have any relationship with them. But today, is there any Arabian country that we don't have the European people visiting? They have a place that they meet, apart from the United Nations General Assembly. If you rub my back, I will rub your back. They are giving them money from the oil well, either from Kuwait, either from anywhere they are giving them to support these people against the Muslims in Palestine. And not only that, what happened in Afghanistan? Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that La tattakhizul yahuda wa nasara. These people, don't make them your friend. Those that they are allies today, they are going to fail them tomorrow. Except if the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not word of Allah. Let's keep on watching. Because these people, they are friends of each other. Inna Allah la yahdil qawma adh-dhalimin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, all the groups that are wrongdoers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not guide them aright. In the tafsir, they said the sababul nuzul of this ayah is concerning Abu Lubaba. Abu Lubaba used to be a companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina. is a resident member of Medina. So when the Jew, I used to tell us, which every one of us ought to have known by now, Rasul met Jews in Medina. What he did for them was Ijla'u. He expelled them. And he met 3 categories of Jews. Banu Kainuka, Banu Nadir, Banu Qurayza. Those are the 3 types of Jews that were residing in Medina before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam got to Medina 1,445 years ago. They were there, and they had a mutual consensus. The first thing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did when he got to Medina was to establish Treaty of Medina, to have a constitutional review of what they are using, and now that the light of Islam has come, so that I won't cheat you, you won't cheat me. Even if you are not doing Islam, be on your lane. But the human right, I must give you. That was the first thing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam established in Medina. And part of the condition in that treaty was that if an external force or external forces is coming, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew that enemies, foes are after him. If they are not coming from Hudaybiyah, if they are not coming from this, they will be coming from Makkah, the Quraysh. I hope you are not going to support them against me. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wrote all this and they signed the agreement. Ghazwatul Badr, they fought it. After Badr, the Quraysh of Makkah were not happy with the outcome because the Muslims, they became victorious. And what led to their victory? They were just 300 and they fought 1,000 people. What was their power? What was their weapon then? Their iman, the state of their steadfastness. Why is it that our brothers in Gaza, since all this while, since 1948, that the state of Israel and the state of Arab in the Palestine has been established? Why is it that there is no rest? That every day is unrest? Why has it not come to an end? Where is our iman? Like 2 million people that are residing there. And the people of yesterday, they were just 300, and they clear all the 1,000 people of Makkah. As at yesterday, 24 hours ago, the last news I read was that 9,000 of the Gaza people have been eliminated. 9,000 including children. You know what 9,000 means? And we keep on praying. Every day we do kunut. Every day we do this. Every day, Allahumma anzur filtana to ikhwanina fi Palestine. Allahumma atwihum. Allahumma this. Why is it that Allah has not answered our prayer? Because we are saboteurs amongst us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, me, Allah, I will not guide any wrongdoer. Talk. Abu Lubaba. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent him on an errand because the Banu Qurayza, among these 3 Jews, one of them, among these 3 Jews, the one we call Banu Qurayza, they plan to kill Nabiuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The story or the history of the incident that happened is in Surah Al-Hujurat. The issue of this Banu Qurayza is in Surah Al-Hujurat. How Nabiuna Muhammad sent Abu Lubaba to them. Abu Lubaba used to be their friend yesterday before he became a companion of Rasul. So they were looking for who should we send to. Abu Lubaba said, let me go. I know their weak point. I know how I will communicate to them. Because their plan, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to them for their support, so that external force will not come and invade him in Medina. So when he got to them, because he had already expelled them from Medina, they were not happy. That bitterness is in them. That anytime that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will catch him, we are going to eliminate him. So now, the Quraysh of Makkah, they want to come for Uhud. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam now stood up with Abu Bakr and some other companions. He now went to meet the Bani Qurayza where they are domiciling, where they are residing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went there. On getting there, he sat down. And these Quraysh and these Jews, they used to build different kind of buildings.
They have masters in architecture. If you see their buildings, if you see the image of Israel, I don't see where you can use to compare it in this Nigeria. Their structures used to be aesthetically looking, pleasing. And everything we are using in this world for our mata'ul hayat dunya is being produced by them. That was why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, wa inni fadaltukum alal alamin. And anywhere the Banu Israel are rich today, even if they are in this mosque now, right, they will dominate us. It's an ayah of Quran. Wa inni fadaltukum alal alamin. I elevate you among all the creatures that I have created. So anywhere they reach, even if it's one that enter this place, we know him as a different person. This is not hadith. This is a verse of the Holy Qur'an. So Allah gave them that power. But the power is for where? It's for this world. And they will use it at time of Qiyamah. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam now sat under a fortress. So some of them, they welcome him very well, but they have their own heinous clandestine motive that alhamdulillah, the dog has entered the lion's den. We are ready to eliminate him today. So they now said, okay, well, how can we do? Let somebody go to the upstairs to go and throw a very big boulder, a very big stone, and throw it on his head so that we break his head and he will now die there. Immediately, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he sent Angel Gabriel to him. Ya Muhammad, leave that place now. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left that place without carrying Abu Bakr along. You that they are saying there is nothing they will do for you in your family house. You know this woman is a witchcraft. And you are saying, what to pass a they will kill you without any tracing. If you know somebody as a evil person, distant that person, and I'm saying, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it won't work. You know somebody as a very hardened criminal. You know somebody that can eliminate your life. I'm not saying, yes, I have ayatul kursi as immunity. It will shoot you. People are saying, you run away from evil. Then that is when the ayatul kursi you will now work in you. That is when the irs, the verses of protection, that is when they will now work in you. Immediately, Rasul left without carrying all the companions along. Ona safuku. Kowa ya kiyaye da rayuwarsa. Kaka ce Allah yana tsare ka. Sai ka ce yana harbe ka ba zai shiga ba. Zai shiga. Duk laya da aka yi maka dinnan kariya ne. Zaka gudu. Allah ya ga manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam jade fita Makka. Allah doesn't have angels to protect him. He told him, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has divine immunity. All our mopol officers, all our security, they use that bulletproof that they used to wear. If you shoot them, the bulletproof will repel the bullet, right? Rasul doesn't need this. He doesn't need this. Kun fayakun is already in him. But still, Allah tried him. On the battle of Wood, blood came out from his mouth. 2 of his teeth fell out. So if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed through all this, then who are you and me? Was it not Allah that asked him not to sleep on the bed the very night that he was supposed to leave Makkah? Because if they meet him there, they will kill him. Who sent him the message? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left. When he got to Mecca, he summoned his companion. They asked him, why did you do this? Why did you not carry us along? He told them that I have a divine instruction to leave. And I have to leave. So sorry that I didn't carry you. Now, I want to take a decisive decision now. We will go and meet them and tell them that I'm giving them 7 days. All of them to leave that place. Those are the Jews. They must leave, or else I will come and invade them and wipe them off. Abu Lubada, he now said, oh, Rasulullah, you know I used to be their friend before I accepted Islam. Send me to them, they will listen to me. Abu Lubaba, And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had already told them that he's going to wipe them off. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Abu Lubaba. Abu Lubaba getting there, he sat down with them, they talked. Now said, my master asked you to leave this community in the next 7 days. Now said, if you didn't leave, what is he going to do? He did an ishara like this. He's going to kill you. Immediately, he did that finish. Abu Lubaba came to his sense that Kai have exposed the secret of whom? Of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like those of you that as soon as your wife, she fry egg, enyalata, tobati, okama kabulu bulu 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 ni. There are some men, they don't know how to keep secret. Have you never tried Hollandia yogurt at this we are 500? Follow me back. Ogba asiri ọ̀gá rẹ̀ ni wọ́n sọ. Wọ́n sì pera rẹ̀ lọ́kùnrin. Immediately, Abu Lubaba remembered that I've exposed the secret of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He ran back to Masjid al-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He now went and tied himself to a pillar inside the masjid. There are 3 pillars, 3 columns in that masjid. If you stand there, anytime you go to Medina, if you stand in any of those masjid, and if you stand around any of those pillars, and you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant you all this, your request. Number 1, Al-Qutwatu Abu Lubaba, the pillar of Abu Lubaba. Abu Lubaba tied himself on that pillar for good 7 days. He couldn't go back to Rasul again because he has exposed the secret of Rasul. So he has betrayed Rasul. How many of us have betrayed our masters? Most of us are this is the secret of the company. Don't tell him. Yes, sir. I want to charge Sonny. I want to give a Sonny. You don't do that. As to whatever. Man nama laka, nama alayka. Whoever exposes one secret to you, will expose your own secret too. So whatever they keep to you, or keep with you as a secret, let it be a secret. Yoruba people will say, "Nta ba de la npe la siri." Kisi ni ja siri, àìṣe rí. He was there. All the Sahabas, they were going to him. Abu Lubaba, why do you tie yourself like this? He couldn't eat, he couldn't drink water for 7 days. Not until when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now revealed an ayah. Lakodi Taba. So after the 7th day, after Salatul Fajr, that was when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now revealed an ayah about Abu Lubaba. That me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have forgiven Abu Lubaba. Our mother, Sauda, the second wife of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after Khadija, before Sayyidatuna Aisha, now told Rasul, can I go and give him the glad tidings that Allah has forgiven him? He said, yes, go. He got to him, Salaam alaikum Abu Lubaba. Allah has accepted your sincere repentance. He said, no, nobody can untie me here until Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came. They went back and go and feed Rasulullah sallallahu. Is that what he said? Bismillah. And he went to the masjid and he untied him. That was how Abu Lubaba was freed. See what he did, just exposing a secret. So you that you are killing people, where do you want to see your forgiveness? He just exposed the secret. Those of you that you are killing people, those of you that you masterminded how somebody was sacked from the company, because you are close to the chairman, because you are close to the GED, because you are close to the president. Say, what close him all on? Say, be close him. And if you are not close to Allah, you are close to any ordinary human being. You are like Kenya. So you are paying Kenya in what you alone. Then where do you want to belong to? So a riwayah said the essence, the sababun nuzul of this, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tattakhizul yahuda wan nasara awliya'am ba'din awliya'um ba'din. That this verse was revealed because of whom? Abu Lubaba. وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّى مِنْكُمْ. Whoever go against the wish of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. He too is among them. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive any wrongdoer. Allah is telling us all this so that we can know those that we call Banu Israel. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us of our shortcomings. The one we have said right, may Allah accept it as an act of ibadah. The one we have said mistake by me, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me and erase it from our ears. This are Banu Israel. I thought I would be able to stop on who are the Banu Israel today, But as I was doing my study, I discovered that there is very another interesting concerning Jaluta and Dawood, the David and Goliath. I wanted to stop Banu Israel today, but there is a lesson from there. And Shamuel, the king that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose for them. Because next week my plan was to discuss Afidatun Rafi'ah, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevated the Banu Israel and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala disgraced them. The rise and fall of the Banu Israel. We are saying all this, not just to come and listen to stories, not just to come and be telling histories, but what are the lessons we can derive from it? Insha'Allah, bi-qudratullahi ta'ala. We are going to close who are the Banu Israel next week. We now talk about their rise and fall. We now go to Masjid al-Aqsa. Then the agreement that was established on that Palestinian land have already proved to us how the land became our own. I've told us from Quran 4 weeks ago. This is the 4th week that we started the issue of this Palestine. The agreement of the United Nations in 1947, 1948, and 1967. There are 3 secret agreements that was held just because of that land. The first one was between them and the Sheriff of Mecca, the great-grandfather of the king of the Jordan of today. The second one, between the United Nations and the Europeans that ceded this our land to these Israelis, is the one we call Sykes-Picot agreement, before the Balfour Declaration. Inshallah, we are going to discuss all this, then we'll close it out. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help every one of us. Inna Allah ya'murukum bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar wal baghi ya'izukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking every one of us to do good. Part of being doing good is to remember our brothers in Palestine, our brothers in Gaza, our brothers in wherever they are, that they are undergoing a severe torment from the hands of their fellow human beings. Nobody can withstand the battalions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the created battalion of Allah, human beings like us, they are torturing other human beings like them. What do? We need to be supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to come to their aid. Not just prayer alone. We need to support them monetarily, financially. There was a meeting that was held in Abuja between the Sharia scholars of this country last week Wednesday in Abuja. An account has been opened that we can send our relief, our money or whatever to. It will be submitted to the Palestinian embassy or the Palestine embassy in Abuja. They will know how to send it to Gaza for our Muslim brothers. So majority of us might have been coming across that particular account or whatever. Let's try and do something, even if it is 1 naira. That will shield you and your generation as well. If you do it with Niyatul Khalisa, it will shield you from any calamity. And it's going to be a tawassul between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah forgive every one of us. Top, our Nigeria, as we are, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide our leaders. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide them. Amen. We are talking about their 160 million naira vehicle last week, which they delivered to the House of Representative members. The senators said they are expecting their own this week. And unfortunately, again, since the day before yesterday, we heard that they are buying a presidential yacht, $5.036 or $5.093 billion or billion naira for our president to be presidencing on the waterways. In this economy, to buy a ship of 5-something billion naira, and also is crying every day. How much is a primary school teacher receiving? How much are the civil servants? Thank God, our president said, with the money that our civil servants are collecting, none of them can gather 5 million to buy a house from the housing scheme that federal government is doing. This our new president said it. that with what they are earning, they can't own a house for themselves because they can't gather 5 million naira in a year. So if our president knows this, and they have our mercy at heart, why will they now be milking the less privileged ones? The ones that want to be riding 160 million naira vehicle, don't they have any vehicle they were riding before they get to where they get to now? Majority of them got there, being rich. Maybe one has been fired from Adamawa, one has been fired in Kogi State now. They've returned Natasha yesterday. They've thrown her in. So some of them, they still fire them because they got there illegally. And these are the people we put in our front to be governing the nation, to be legislating our affairs. All our universities, where are their own children? Ask. Majority of these lawmakers, where are their children? The road where they want to ride these vehicles, where are the roads? And the coffin we are going to use to carry them, how much are they going to produce the coffin? If they are riding 160 million naira vehicle, where we are crying. Where are our hospitals? None of them is going to any of our general hospitals. They fly abroad. That is why you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not run after you. He will just put something in their body that they will be nursing at time al-Qiyamah. Some of them have hypertension. Some of them have lacasera. Some of them have diabetes. In one body, he has 3 deadly diseases on him. Some of them, they must take drug 1 hour. We are crying. You are there. In this economy, 5 billion naira yard, but I want to trust our president. He won't do that. Maybe it's a propaganda from the media. Let's assume. Because we never insult our president. This is the dawah I've been telling us. But if they do it, inna rabbaka labil mirsad. Allahumma izzat islam wal muslimin. وزل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداءك أعداء الدين وجعل هذا بلدا آمنا مطمئنا وسائر بلاد المسلمين اللهم أصلح أحوال المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم أصلح آل إخواننا وآلنا في فلسطين اللهم آمن روحتهم اللهم آكن دماءهم واشف مرضاهم وتقبل شهداءهم اللهم انصر إخواننا المجاهدين في فلسطين اللهم انتصر لهم من اليهود محتلين غاصبين اللهم كن لهم مؤينا ونصيرا ومؤيدا وظاهرا اللهم طهر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود المحتلين غاصبين اللهم حفظ مسجد الأقصى اللهم اجعله سامحا عزيزا إلى يوم القيامة بفضلك وجودك وكرامك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكيها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها مولاها بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتون إلا وأنتم مسلمون قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الرحمن.